Okay folks, here's a somewhat quick video on a 2009 Volkswagen Touareg, 167,000 miles. Had the intermittent problem of going to start it, put the key in the ignition, turn it, and won't start. The shift lever will not come out of park. I played with it 3 or 4 times, fiddling with it, recycling the key. Eventually it would unlock, allow me to start it, and then I'd get a dash light. Also got a check engine light and a system fault workshop light. Sometimes I get an ABS system fault, and almost all the time I'd get the cruise control fault. I think it's a cruise control fault. Let me turn this on here. Right here on the dash, you normally get the amber cruise word. I think it tells you the cruise control is faulted. When cruise control works, it usually shows up right here with the word cruise in white. But mine had cruise in amber right there. And the buttons on the steering wheel that operate the cruise control were unresponsive. So I did some searching on forums. Finds out a common problem in these cars, Touaregs, Tiguans, Porsches, they all have the same drain system for the sunroof. The tubes that drain the sunroof get clogged, the water overflows into a tray, works its way down the A-pillar, floods the footwell compartment, and I was told to check the carpet, and sure enough my carpet was wet. Beyond wet, it's soaking. It's been drying out now all day. It's going to take a week or two. But underneath that is the wiring harness, and this whole area was just filled with water. Luckily the harness was inside this little tray, this plastic tray. It's still, all the wires were very damp, actually wet, but none of them were broken or anything. But I did find in the harness some sets of wires here you want to look for. I don't know if they come from the factory like this, but here's like a little red and brown wire. This was 2 wires essentially crimped right there, and then wrapped with electrical cloth tape. Oh my god, cloth tape? But it was all soaked. At the end of it was lots of green copper corrosion. So I unwrapped the cloth tape, and as soon as I pulled the tape off, the 2 wires came apart. They were making very, very poor connection. Now there's 2 more sets of wires here, black ones. Let me try to get this out of here. Here's 2 more black ones right here. Same thing, they're crimped together. That's all it is, just crimped. And then wrapped with cloth electrical tape. What a joke. You could actually look down the hole and see green corrosion. Green corrosion was oozing out of the green electrical tape. So both of these, I just cut them off, resoldered. I like to solder, I don't like to crimp. And then put these shrink tubes on. I'm going to tape this off, put some silicone on here. And then the other thing I noticed was there's four ground wires here in this harness. They're pretty thick. They're 12 gauge wires. All 4 wires were crimped with some kind of plier at the factory. and that whole thing was just covered with green copper corrosion, and the corrosion found its way up the wire. So I cut that all back. I know I used some wire nuts. That's all I have with 12 gauge wire. It's hard to do. They're just ground wires, I believe. And then further up here in the footwell, this harness here was all wet also, because this cloth covering came all the way down. I think the water came right out of here from the A-pillar, flooded the footwell, soaked up into the carpet, got all this wet. I mean, it's okay. I think it's okay if you get all these wires wet. It don't hurt anything as long as they're not broke. But I found the broken ones. 2 black wires, 2 red and brown wires, 4 ground wires. These were the only wires in this harness that weren't completely insulated. And the water found its way in there, corroded them, was impairing the signal to the transmission control module. That was another fault. I used a blue driver to scan this vehicle. Not really scan it. I guess the blue driver does scan modules better than just a code reader. And all of them said no communication with transmission control module. So under the advice of many forums, I decided to partake on this. This stuff is, I couldn't figure out how to take this off. I was a little impatient, so I just pulled the carpet out from underneath it. I'll let it dry out and stuff it back in after I wrap this up with more plastic and try to waterproof it. But anyway, that is why you get no communication with transmission control module intermittently, especially when it was cold outside. So now I come in the vehicle, press the brake, everything's good. I got the classic TPMS POS sensors, that's what I call them. That will be there forever. I'm not fixing that for whatever they cost. And that's it. Runs like a champ. Have not had the problem with the ABS brake system. No communication with TCM. System Fault Workshop. I don't know how they came up with that name. But anyway, my blue driver cleared all those codes, and it's running good. Hope this video helps. One thing I did additionally, because I don't want to tear into that sunroof. Now don't laugh. I don't have time. I just put tape over the the sunroof to prevent water from getting in there in the first place. So anyway, I'm sure this is a fix. Thanks for watching.